Hey everybody, welcome. We're super excited today because the Lord finally blessed us with onions. We're really happy to be able to show you guys that. And so we're just going to kind of take you through the process of what we're doing to cure them and get them ready to go out to food banks. So we'll talk more about the end of the video a little bit, just how great it is to have the blessing finally of being able to get onions after trying. But it kind of worked out that there was this delay in God finally delivering us onions because we didn't really have a place to cure them before. So when we got a little bit before, we tried to just kind of cure the onions in this pump house here. And as you can see, it's small and it's just full of junk and we didn't have room. So we didn't really have a good place to cure the onions. But now we have a almost greenhouse and it's kind of perfect. The sides haven't gone on yet. And we don't really need the sides yet because it's the middle of summer and it's super hot, so we let the air flow through, which worked out great for drying these onions. Because when you're drying the onions, you want airflow. Airflow is critical. You want them to dry out. You don't want them to be bunched up and molding and getting nice and gooey and wet. No. So once they've got the first step of being dried out in the sun, the tops are all dead. This is when we're gonna start to cut them and we're gonna bag them. But we're not gonna bag them in non-permeable bags. We're gonna bag them in these little mesh bags. I don't know if you can see my face, but they have holes in them. So we got these off of Amazon. I'll put a link into them because they're really cool and they're really cheap. But we're not actually giving the onions to the food banks in these bags because they're cheap, but we also just can't be plowing through these bags. So we're delivering them in boxes and regular grocery bags, but we're putting them in this to then set them out on the porch for a few more days or weeks and let that curing process go a little more, but where they can still breathe through this bag. So that's what we're doing today. So it's just a matter of we're gonna cut the onion like the top like an inch above the onion, peel back some of this nastiness, and cut off, this one didn't have too many roots down there, and bag it. There's not a whole lot to this process, it just takes time. But you can see this onion looks pretty good. I mean, it's a really good shape on him, but he's a little small. And this is, I think, just the effect of that drought. The plants looked great, and then as that drought really set in, they just stopped looking great, and I think the bulbs really just stopped growing at that point. So, whatever. And some of these little onions, you know, maybe they don't look nice, and maybe we won't donate all of these little ones, but I'm able to use them at home. I have no problems with them being little, and boy, they taste good. Way better than grocery store onions. So once we have them bagged up, they'll go up onto the porch. And here I'll try to lay them out still on the bags. So here they're out of the sun in the shade of the porch. They'll get a little bit of the morning sun, but I'm able to have them out of the direct sun, and I spread them out still on the table in that bag to allow them to get some more airflow and just help that curing process continue for the next few days to a couple weeks, and they'll just last longer in storage. And then they're still in that bag, so if I need this table, which I will in a couple days for worship night that we do out here, then I can easily grab the bag and move them around, and eventually I'm going to get some hooks up onto the ceiling somewhere and then just be able to hang the bags and not have to worry about having them on a table where they can continue to still breathe in those mesh awesome bags. So yeah, I'll finish doing all the onions in that greenhouse. We have still more to pick, more to do. Hopefully we'll have maybe 150, 200 pounds, I'm thinking possibly. Yeah, so then they'll come out of those bags into a box or like a grocery bag and go to the food banks depending on how many those food banks need based on how many they serve. And then they'll be out of there. And it's just so exciting. But yeah, so it's so great to finally then get these onions. And I know, like I said, it's not quite as much as we wanted or the size that we really wanted. And we had to deal with the drought in the spring and then throughout the summer. But it really is a great thing for my heart, especially this year when we lost a lot of squash and zucchini. But to have God really just finally unload onions on us. We've been really faithful in trying to do all the things we are out here, trying to be patient, trying to be faithful, not giving up just because something failed, but trying to learn from it, persevere, push forward. And I think those are just such great things that we can not only apply to growing produce, but apply to our faith. But one of my favorite books of the Bible is Habakkuk. It's my favorite, but it's just a really great book. Give it a read sometime. It's like 3 chapters, but it's really short and succinct, and it does a great job of separating God from man. God is in charge. God is doing a work. We are to worship. We are to wait, to be patient, and to be faithful. And it's a really great little book to really set apart us from God and understand the roles and who we are as worshipers of God, and who God is as the King of the universe, the orchestrator of things. And Habakkuk has to stay patient. He worships through it all. And I love that. And I felt like I just was reminded of that, because we stayed patient through trying to grow onions and worshiping God and trusting in Him and loving Him, even though we didn't quite get what we wanted when we wanted it. And I just think that there's so much to be learned in that from the onions to apply to our lives, our faith, and everything that goes with that. But there's a song I really love. I'm a big fan of Lincoln Brewster. I think his songs are great. I don't know, everybody's got their favorites. And it's While I Wait. And then he says, kind of in the, I guess, pre-chorus, chorus, whatever, he says, I live by faith and not by sight. Sometimes miracles take time. While I wait, I will worship. I will worship your name. Then he says, while I wait, I will trust you. I will trust you the same. But it's a great parable for our lives, and just to kind of surrender ourselves, our wants, our desires to the Lord, and trust in Him even through the times where it looks like nothing's really happening. To trust, to have faith, to walk by that faith, and not by just what we see and what we're given, but to walk by that faith, to stay steadfast, persevere. I don't know though, maybe I'm just rambling, but it's just great to have a Lord that loves us, to be faithful to Him, and to really kind of see the fruit or the vegetable or the root of that perseverance, of that steadfastness, of loving Him, worshiping Him, standing firm on the promises of Jesus in one small aspect of our lives. And imagine if we stand on the promises of God in the bigger things, and trusting in Him when we go out and when we share the gospel, and when we are tested in our faith, when we're put our backs against the wall by others, and how we stand firm in Jesus. I mean, the connections are limitless. I'm just thankful that God has really kind of come through and again built my heart, my faith for when it really is time to be tested and counted. I hope some of that makes sense. I just get excited, and sometimes it's hard to communicate what I'm excited, but it's just great to see kind of some onions and the faithfulness of God. So if you like what you see in this video, you want to see more of what we're doing out here on the farm, hit the subscribe button, like, I don't know, there used to be a bell thing, maybe you hit that or something and it tells you when we do videos. I don't really know how all this works, but there's things, click things, and I think when you click things, it's good. And see more, and we'll be doing more videos, and like I said, we got a new camera, so hopefully it's going to be easier and quicker to put videos out. And I'm just thankful for everybody that's helped support anything we do out here, all you guys watching videos, and thankful that God gave us onions. We'll see you next time.